Teaching hate when he says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore. If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf violent? He wasn't teaching hate. He was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of it. Of the fact that he might swing back, so they said, "No, he's teaching hate. He's violent."
They have not done the things necessary to make it come to fruition. That's an easy way to identify them. Okay, that's an easy way to identify them. They're not making the right necessary moves and steps to produce that, and it's important. But also on the flip side, a woman who's stepping into this man's life, who's stepping in and seeing that he's a visionary, supporting the vision, getting behind the vision and being a helpmeet, helping meet the needs of the vision is always important to do. It's so important because we got women nowadays who feel like that they don't have to come in and be a helpmeet for a visionary, a man who is a visionary. Maybe he has not reached his peak earning potential, but he is on his way there. His upward trajectory is definitely there and it can be seen. I want to hear a little bit about some of these cases, right? Let's take a listen, right? Because this woman speaks about some things. I want to address this as another talking point and topic that we all really need. We need to hear about these things, right? Let's go ahead and jump into it real quick. Let's hear what she has to say.
I get it, but the Bible doesn't say a woman is to build a man up, but be an asset to protect what's built and nurtured. I get what you're saying, but let's not confuse building a man with building with a man. The Bible says in Genesis chapter 2:18, it is not good for a man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. Helper does not mean silent, and it does not mean spectator. It's a partner with purpose. If a man already has vision, a real woman doesn't build him. She builds with him. Proverbs 31 doesn't describe a woman who just sit back and protect what's already built. It says she buys fields, invests, profits, speaks wisdom, and strengthens her household. And that's not passive, that's partnership. So yes, I'm young, but being young doesn't mean being blind. It means I'm learning early what alignment actually looks like. God designed a woman to nurture growth, to multiply what's in her hands, and to add value to wherever she's placed. And if that kind of woman is by your side, you're not just protected, you're positioned. So I fully believe in building with a man.
All right. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section, man. If she on track, man, she on point, man, put a W in the chat. Put a W in the chat. If you disagree with some points, man, put an L in the chat and give me the reason why you disagree with her. Give me the reasons why you disagree with her. Because I hear rhetoric all the time of people saying what a woman should be doing, how a woman should be this and how a woman should be that. Listen, just because a woman's out here working, just because a woman's out here producing, that don't make her, I guess, not a P31. Or make a man less valued, okay? Or make a man not be taking care of his responsibilities or duties out here because his wives or woman is working or producing for the household and family. Is to where, of course, we know that this is what P31s do. This is what the women do. They should be able to help out in these ways, right? Or to be a helpmeet in these ways, right? The way that she addressed it and broke it down, honestly, a lot of women should glean from that and understand, especially nowadays in this Western society and culture, right? Got W's in the chat. Especially in this Western society and culture, we know for a fact that they will hold a position and trying to justify why they don't have to do anything in this world at all to produce or help the relationship space grow. They will do anything they can to make excuses rather than to produce something tangible. They'll make an excuse in a heartbeat, right? They'll make an excuse in a heartbeat. A Proverbs 31 has a business or a trade going. Absolutely. That's something that people tend to overlook often. Especially when, don't even get me started when people start to want to discuss things about polygyny. And a man who practices polygyny, which honestly has never been forbidden or frowned upon throughout the scriptures. And he's supposed to be this millionaire, multi-millionaire, right? Six-figure earner. You understand what I'm saying? Whereas to where, of course, we know that Jacob was none of that, right? He effectively had to offer work and labor in order to afford the two wives that he received, which is Leah and Rachel. And one of them, he didn't really suspect that he wanted to receive her, right? He wanted Rachel more, but he wasn't a man of great wealth. You get what I'm saying? So my thing is that when we have these stigmas and we encourage a lot of these women who just truly want to be lazy, who don't want to produce, who don't want to truly be a helpmeet, right? A lot of women who want a position of wife, a title of wife, but don't want to have to put forth the effort that it takes to actually be a true wife, a true P31. You got more W's in the chat. They don't want to put forth that effort. They don't want to put forth that real energy. You understand what I'm saying? Ones who can be trusted, who would do good by the husbands all the days of their life, who won't run and hide and try to cover up anything, right? Who won't steal his seed from him and try to hide them from him, who will be sure that they've done everything they needed to do to make a space very productive, right? And solid. Sometimes you can train a woman into this, okay? And then nowadays, that is your only that's usually what you have to do as a man, okay? If you want a woman to be able to step into that role fully, you got to be prepared to teach. And it's your job as a man to be prepared to teach the woman that you're with how to properly be a P31. But it's also that woman's father's. That's his job to teach that young lady how to be a proper P31, how to be a proper woman out here. So we got task as men to teach these things, right? But that's the reason why when you're pouring into your daughter, right, and you're teaching her how to be a proper P31, that you as a man, right, you and your wife or your woman who raised this young lady should not be trying to just give her away for free. She should be a commodity. What's a commodity? Something of value, not valueless. This is the reason why the book really protects women. It protects women of virtue. It keeps them virtuous. So when they understand their value as a young lady, right, and they preserve themselves unto marriage, and that is their sole focus and goal is to build family, and that family will equate to wealth. Okay. This is the way that we all thought and projected it to be all throughout the scriptures. Family was wealth. Well, to be wealthy is to have a strong family connection and strong family unit. And a woman, right, who's a pillar in her family, a true P31 woman, right, who can be trusted. This was the things that led and guided us. This is the reason why the Bible is so profound in its knowledge. This is the reason why the Bible is not only being discredited, right? It's being ignored because of the level of truth and the level of focus that it truly provides to you. It teaches your family how to be of value. You understand what I'm telling you? And so people want to discredit the book because it's been misused and abused in ways. And they want to discredit the level of knowledge, even though that this book has not been proven to be wrong. It has been accurate and true, right? Historically proven that this is the only book that has ever been accurate and true. Even then, they still want to discredit it. They still want to lay it aside. But this book is teaching you true core fundamentals as to what true wealth is. It's not monetary. It's not Federal Reserve notes. It's not even gold, silver, things that are tangible. Family is true wealth. If you have no family, if you have no support system, then you are living in poverty. Simple as that. You're living in poverty. My gunshot. You're living in poverty. And as a man, your job is to teach this woman, regardless of what position you're holding in her life, in your life, regardless of what position is. A true visionary of a man is going to teach the women how to conduct themselves on that level, on a level that's respectable, on a level that produces and not consumes. Right? And as a woman, your job is to listen and receive this and do what's necessary. As a P31, don't take marriage nor dating advice from Ringo nor Dow. They are tied to the system and make people live after the system. Absolutely. But they also are going to teach you, right? I'm not sure about Ringo, but I can tell you Dow is going to teach you that the woman in her say, her worth, her value is only as incubation. She's only valuable to bear children. She's only valuable to bear children and to do everything you ask her for and say, maybe even bake and cook. You know what I'm saying? And they're very valuable in those areas. In those arenas is extremely valuable. They're also key tools to be able to help you further and progress the family and the quality of life, right? But as a man, you got to be a visionary. You got to be willing to produce the vision. And the woman's going to help you bring it into fruition. It just is what it is. That's what they're designed to do. The vision of a child, you give it to a woman, she's going to produce a child for you here in the physical reality. It's the same transaction all across the board. This is equity. We need to speak equitable. What's fair and just? I did it. My ex was in prison and I was faithful to him. And I got him into the firefighters program and the welding program in prison. He got out and cheated on me. Oh man, I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh about that. That's not funny at all. I just didn't suspect that turn. I am not with him, but I learned a lot. I understand. Listen. I'm not laughing at that. I'm definitely wow. But my thing is this, right? When you invested into him, you should know, like, he's in prison, right? Sister Martha, and I'm gonna be gentle about this. He went to prison, so he's already prone to making some pretty bad decisions. I'm not talking about men who have been found guilty of crimes that they rightfully done, right? I'm not talking about men who are making tough or bad decisions like that. I'm talking about men who are visionaries and actually have a purpose, and they're on their purpose. They're on their stuff. When a man who's on that level and looking to build, and you pour into him like this, I promise you won't get that result. And I think you also got to know and understand the nature of men. The nature of men, most men desire more than just one woman. We desire multiple women. Honestly, some of them is for very unsavory reasons. Some of them they're full of lust. Others understand the level of power and the level of progression, right? What actually brings out of them, right? The response, whatever it may be, it's more of a spiritual thing for them. It's more of a spiritual thing, an economic thing, right? These things have been historically proven to be the reasons why any person married, right, or any man married another woman or taking on multiple wives is economic growth, maybe spiritual growth, development, things like that. They're able to handle it, and it brings a different side out of them, but also it brings in different ties. It ties in different resources, whatever it may be. And this has been historically proven as to why men made decisions like this. Okay. Now, you got to understand, like Mama Clay said here, a righteous man, when a righteous man, and you've done this for a righteous man, right? When you've done it for him, you won't get the results to where your trust has been betrayed, right? And your trust has been betrayed, and you're stuck holding the bag now after you poured into the space. And I can only imagine the level of defeated that you felt, the level of betrayal you felt, how it may have hurt or tarnished your level of trust, not only in us men, but also in relationships in general. how you approach a new relationship, not giving the same zeal, not giving the same. But my thing is this: the next man, Martha, that you decide you want to get involved in, get the men in your family involved in his life. And the reason why I say it, before you start jumping out there again, you learned the lesson now. Before you start jumping out there again, right? If you're still in dating and marriageable age and you still out there, you know what I mean, looking for somebody else, or if you have not done so yet, get the men in your life to get involved in his life. You understand what I'm saying? Allow them to get to know him and learn him a little bit more. So that way you can make more of a sound decision on who you pour all of that great and positive energy into, right? But don't stop showing up for the men who you decide to be with, right? Don't stop showing up for them. Don't change the greatness of who you are, the brightness of your light, because this one individual didn't know how to appreciate you and all the things that you've done for him. You also got to take self accountability. You did it for a man who made a poor decision that landed him in prison. Of course, he wasn't going to appreciate it, right? Of course, he wasn't. He don't even appreciate himself enough to keep himself out of those positions, right? So you got to know, you got to take that accountability too. And don't just toss away the whole kit and caboodle, but pick wiser. Do wiser picks when you're pouring into a space. That man obviously was a dreamer and not necessarily a visionary. You did all the visionary stuff work, right? And helped him through that. You did a great job, a fantastic job. And he just decided to do whatever he did. So, my heart goes out to you. But but hang in there. Don't give up. Keep pressing the mark. And don't allow that bad experience to change the greatness and the beauty of who you truly are. Because the Father is the one you ultimately is truly wanting to impress. You want to impress. If you're a believer, you want to impress the Most High. That man who did you wrong or betrayed your trust, he's going to get what's just due to him, right? Because he wasn't supposed to lie to you like that. If he was a polygynous type of man, right, who wanted to be with multiple women, then he should have been honest and upfront about that with you from the get-go, right? He should have done that. So my heart goes out to you. I'm sorry to hear about that. Let's continue. Got a W in the chat. Hey, righteous man, that's right. Dow Ringo and others are afraid of women. They talk about having a big wallet and be outwardly perfect to get a high end woman. Yeah, I mean, honestly, a woman who is seeking to build with me is somebody whose honestly value is far above rubies. You understand what I'm saying? Regardless on if the foundation is already laid and I'm already doing whatever. If she's coming into the space and she's seeking how she can be an asset to me and not how she can just freeload, that is a woman of great price, of great value, right? It's an expendable trait. And it's something that, you just wouldn't be willing to get rid of at all. And I believe that women would like this brain or mindset, not only for entrepreneurship, but also a brain or a mindset to just a go-getter mentality. There's nothing wrong with a woman having that, right? That's a P31 and the softness that it truly does bring. Now, if she's just too controlling, too dominating, too masculine about it, then yeah, that right there is a no. Or instant no, right? For any man, I think. Most men. Okay. Let me not say any man. Most men. But a woman who's willing to do what she can to help build and get into that space, understand how to be still in the role of a woman, but knowing that it's going to take her putting her hands to the plow as well. Not to say that she wants to jump and ride the plow while you're pushing the plow. She wants to help push the plow alongside you. That is far above rubies, of great value. It's priceless, and that is worth every penny, right? But what was I saying? Oh, the value of a woman. No, we don't need to give these women away for free. No, they should be. It should be valueless. This woman should be the man who's looking to marry a virgin woman, a young lady. He should be willing to go through hoops in order to make that happen, because the character of this young lady is impeccable. Okay. And the way that she was raised and taught and brought up, the stock that she comes from, the family she comes from, this is just a power move for this man. So he should have, it should be expected to either be able to provide a level of work, whatever it may be, but that is also an opportunity to prove that he is willing to sacrifice time, resources in order to be sure that he can gain this valuable piece. Not just say, hey, I want her, I like her, I'll take her. You get what I'm saying? There's literally, when you work hard for something, you tend to really love what you've worked hard for. You really tend to be more patient with it. You really tend to approach it differently. Most men, right, who are righteous, honestly, not the ones who are wicked, that see it as an opportunity to control and dominate, but ones who see it as, okay, man, this is great value. You tend to appreciate it more when you sacrificed a bit for that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to bring the shame, the value back to our communities, back to our women, back to the men, understanding that they can't just, be handed anything. Same thing with the women. We got to bring a lot of this back into fruition, into play. And we'll create and produce more healthy homes, marriages, children. The balance that it takes for a man and a woman to produce a family is beautifully and perfectly designed by the Most High. We can't navigate away from the biblical principles. We just can't. And we're going to be landing this plane here soon, y'all. But let's go over to Hebrews. Let's go to Hebrews. And we're going to be landing this plane after this. But let's go to Hebrews. Let's say, I'm checking my notes here right now. We're going to go to Hebrews. Oh, man, where's that? I had it and then lost it. Hebrews 5:14. Probably shouldn't have moved it. Let's go to Hebrews 5:14. Let's get Hebrews 5:14. Okay. Remove that off. All right. Let's go to Hebrews 5:14. All right. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their seasons, who by reason have their senses. Okay. So even by reason of us of use have their senses exercised to to discern both good and evil. Excuse me, y'all. Let me reread that. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. Right? Both good and evil. When we're discerning each other, discerning everything, truth trains your senses. It trains you. The truth does. So if you're too busy out here faking the funk, you're too busy out here lying and capping and doing all this extra trash, right? You're not honing in on the truth of being an honest person. When people speak truth to you, I don't care if it's your children, I don't care if it's your neighbor, I don't care who it is. When they're speaking truth, you need to commend them for telling the truth. You need to give them the results of being a truth speaker, right? so they can be able to, so you'll know how to use proper discernment, how to use your senses, increase those senses, right? And you're exercising the discernment between good and evil, both. The person who's speaking truth, that should be commendable at all times. Even if you disagree with the position, it still should be commendable, right? But we're exercising those gifts. The truth trains your senses. It trains your senses. Speak more truth. Like this woman here, you can't sit there and have a woman pour into you in those ways, right? And you go and betray her trust and you discard her. You're not living in truth. The truth is not trained your senses. You understand what I'm saying? When a woman like that accepts the fact and receives the fact that that has taken place and she lives in her truth, that she's done all she can, and she's not going to hinder that or allow that to hinder her from showing up in her fullness and in the full capacity in her next space. When she shows up in that truth, guess what? She's training her senses of understanding the difference between good and evil. Her senses wasn't trained. She was living a lie. She was living a fairy tale, right? In regards to this individual who made a decision that landed him in prison. And I'm not saying that for any other reason, but that is the truth. That a lot of women make those bad and poor decisions, and it's constantly a thing, right? And my heart goes out to them, but they should know better. They should exercise the levels of truth that comes to them, saying that this individual may not be the best decision maker. They may not be somebody who's very honest. Exercise truth so you can understand how to discern properly between good and evil. Okay. Between good and evil. Watch the fruit. Don't watch the flesh. Watch the fruit. My thing is this, right? Consistent character development, consistent realizing their own flaws, right? If they are people who respect boundaries, but also realize that they've made mistakes, these are people that you can trust that will check themselves in situations where it could go really bad, right? It can go really bad. These individuals who have the character, enough character to empathize and check themselves and identify when they're wrong, guess what? You can trust these individuals. You can trust them. If they're willing to receive or accept responsibility for something they've done wrong, there's levels of trust you can give to them, okay? Listen for the spirit. The spirit will also check you. That inner pause or rest or whatever it may be is for your own protection. It's a built-in protective mechanism that the Most High has instilled in you to check something or information that may be false or fraudulent. Make sure you're tapping into that spirit. Make sure you're honing into that and you're listening to that, okay? Because it's a natural built-in strength, okay? I appreciate you guys joining me here for the Warsheep Podcast, man. Listen, don't forget to like this video. We need maximum effort, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? We need a maximum effort. Don't forget to like this video, okay?
Maximum effort.
We need maximum effort.
Maximum effort.
And you hating on me. And if you're here and you're hating on me, feel free. Feel free.
If there's any haters in here right now that don't have nobody to hate on, feel free to hate on me. Sit back there and say my hair ain't luxurious when you know it is, bitch.
Man. Like, comment, subscribe. Share this with people who need to hear this message. And holler back at your boy. Click that notification bell so you can get all the updates. All right? And we'll see you guys in the next flock, all right? On the way out, man, let's drop some ram and some sheep in the chat for all my righteous alpha men and all my elegant women who's exceptional. Bless y'all. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and shalom, shalom.